now notebooks are ready. Now to execute notebook or to execute each task. To execute each task in a job, we need to assign a cluster. Okay, remember, a cluster can be either one of the below types. First one, we have all-purpose cluster. Number two, interactive cluster. First one, all-purpose cluster. This cluster is configured from the computer or cluster page, used for regular notebook executions. If this cluster runs 24/7, then we can use it for the database job task executions. The task executions inside the job. Okay. Why it has to run like this? Because the all-purpose cluster cannot be started by a task. If it is paused, your task fails. Note, a task cannot start or resume or suspend an all-purpose cluster. Remember this. We need to do it manually. Okay, you got a cluster. I just started. So here it is. I'm talking about something called as all-purpose clusters. We have to start it manually. So click on the cluster and start. Manually we have to do it. A job task cannot do. So if all-purpose cluster is running 24/7, then we can use it. But it might be a costly affair, especially if there are no other active notebook operations in the cluster. Other option, interactive cluster. Here, create during task execution. During task execution, and the cluster is auto deleted after task execution. This information. Let's understand how to get this interactive cluster, also called as job cluster. Let's understand. Go to your Databricks workspace. Left side, you see create. There is something called job. Create and job like plus create job, class Q for job name. Say for example, I'll say a notebook job. Give task. Give some task name. So job requires one or more tasks. Here we have to link a notebook to the task. Type notebook. Type would be notebook. And if in case there are some Azure developers working on this workspace, they create something called jar files, Java archive files, either notebooks or jar files. Here we are talking about notebooks and click on notebook. If you remember security concept earlier, you got the notebooks pertaining to each user. Select the node, click on like this. Observe carefully, click, and here it is. We can only select one node at a time. So a task can be linked to only one node. And here you'll see shared job cluster. This is the all-purpose cluster we created. Okay, this is shared job cluster, nothing but all-purpose cluster or new job cluster. Either reuse existing all-purpose cluster or new job cluster. Select the cluster name. I'll say job cluster 1. For your free account, it would be single node cluster. For time being, let me show you a standard cluster. If it is standard cluster, you have option for workers. For example, here I'll say 8 workers or 10 workers. Now the question arises, how to decide the number of workers? If it is a regular cluster, all-purpose cluster, you got minimum, maximum worker range. Remember everyone, 3 to 8, 3 to 10, you got some range of worker nodes. Remember that. While creating the cluster, you have the option for range of minimum to maximum. Cancel, press, compute. While creating the cluster, you will see minimum worker nodes, maximum worker nodes, minimum maximum range. And for example, you mention it as 3 and maximum I'll say for 6. And we use the cluster. So we create the cluster, we start using it. Later point of time, we can click on the existing cluster and edit the number of workers. Especially if there are any performance problems, you may need to edit the cluster. Say you arrive at something called 8. From 6, you made it to 8. Now, the 8 is the maximum workers. Right, I was telling just now. You can click on existing cluster and use the edit option. Click on it, edit option, and we can change the worker nodes any number, any point of time in future. So you arrived at a conclusion. Let's have 8 instead of 6. For what? For executing, say, one or few notebooks. At the time of creating your job, you need to identify the maximum worker node count and supply it. Drop down, new job cluster. Here you see that worker. It would be usually the max workers you see with the appropriate job. Now here it is. I'll call it as job cluster. Next, in your case, while you're practicing, you make use of only standard single node cluster. And here we have enable auto scaling. If you don't enable auto scaling, you see only the upper limit. You see only the upper limit. Enable auto scaling. Then you see again same option, minimum to maximum. There is something called spot instances. What does it mean? If, for example, your notebook is using only 50% of the allocated memory and about only 40 or 30% of the allocated cores, then the remaining resources will not be charged because they would be allocated for other resources by ARM, Azure Resource Manager, ARM component, an internal component used to allocate the resources. I repeat, spot instances mean the free resources which are a part of your component or part of your cluster can be allocated for other clusters or by other services in Azure, decided by ARM, Azure Resource Manager. But the downside, suddenly if your data increases, all of a sudden your notebook needs more resources. Then there is some wait time involved in allocating those resources. So minor performance resource waits would be involved. Repeat once again, back. Here we go. So far we learned 2 types of clusters. Now let's see how to schedule a notebook. Go to Databricks workspace. Once you go to Databricks workspace, left side, create job, specify job name. Specify job name. Next. Once you give the job name, then next item. We need to go to something called task. Specify task name. Okay, specify task. Hope you are writing your observation. Yes, specify the task name. What next? browse or the notebook for which you would like to schedule. Okay. Then next, select the required all-purpose cluster or create a new job cluster. During job cluster creation, specify cluster name, cluster mode, either single node or standard. What's the other one? Do you remember? Single node, standard.
Concurrence.
Exactly. High concurrency, right? You remember? High concurrency. But here it's only single node or standard. As on date, high concurrency option is not available. It's not available for job clusters. Remember. Okay, next. So specify the cluster name, cluster mode, single or standard. One more thing, back. If it is single node, then we don't see any option for workers. It takes only one driver, 0 workers. Okay, and you see 14 GB memory, right? That we can change. How? Here, node type standard 14 gig memory, 28 gig, 56 gig type. Cluster mode is different. Node type is different. Here it is. Single node cluster, select node type. It actually is, or it decides the memory and number of cores. We say processing cores. Okay, next. For single node cluster, 0 worker nodes and 1 driver node. In this case, more capacity needed for driver node. Capacity means processor and core. Memory and core count needed. If it is standard node cluster, single mode, other one standard, 2 modes of clusters. Here, case 1 and case 2 cases. Case 1, disable auto scaling, and we need to mention static or fixed number of worker nodes. If enable auto scaling, then we can mention dynamic or range based number of worker nodes. Remember earlier 2 to 6 like or 2 to 8 in this way. Here it is exact like this. So if it is first case static, then enable for disable for instance. Here you can enable spot instance. Let me tell you why. Come on, friends. What is spot instance?
We allocated for the cluster using Azure Resource Manager.
Yes, exactly. Spot instance. ARM is that right? It is ARM component. Let's observe carefully. Just wait. Please wait. Let's observe it. Hope you are writing your observation now. Let's check. Here it is. Azure Resource Manager. ARM component will allocate the unused capacity. Allocate unused capacity of your cluster to other service. Now, what do we mean by other services? Important. Yes, we are taking something called cluster here. The same cluster can be there for other data bricks. Cluster capacity is required for data factory, and the cluster capacity required for Synapse. There are three different cases where clusters will be in use. Data bricks, data factory, and Synapse. Everywhere we have this Spark clusters concept. Same thing again, single node standard. Single node mode and standard. I said high concurrency, right? That high concurrency is applied only for all purpose cluster as of now. We don't understand. Not available for interactive cluster. Then what about data factory? What about Synapse? Take. Remember, whenever there is an unused resource of a cluster, it can be used for other services. The other database service. Data factory has something called data flow. Our query. They need Spark cluster. It is called spot instance. It actually saves space. Advantage. Well, save cost. Come on, what is the disadvantage?
We have to wait for the resource to
Possible wait time for resource allocation. Okay. For additional capacity allocation. Say for example, right now you already have some capacity of say 56 GB. You would like to get more. There might be a wait time. It's just like a dynamic memory allocation. Okay. Just like dynamic memory allocation. Next. Well, you got the cluster ready, cluster mode ready, spot instance mentioned. Then next item. So here it should be, for example, standard. If it is standard, then only we have the option of auto scaling and minimum maximum worker and spot instance. Next. Now here, of course, you have to select the notebook first. Because based on the type of notebook, you have the cluster setup requirement. They confirm. Then click create, provide the task, click create. For this task, we have to mention the schedule also. What your task right now. Here you see edit schedule. Click on edit schedule. Manual. Whenever you want, you can simply run the job or on a scheduled day. Say every day at 6. If in case you are from Unix, Linux background, there is something called cron in that. Generally for open source technologies, we have something called cron. Well, so here it is. Cron means it's actually a command line utility for any kind of scheduling activity. Okay, so here we go. Click on cron, it's optional. No need to go for cron. Say every day, 6 a.m. like this. Next. With this information, click save. And the job we have one task so far. Click on plus. Click on plus. And again we can have extra job. Just click on plus. And we have one more job to create. This one. Say for example, and notebook. Select for example another notebook like either new cluster for this node task or all purpose. There is something called depends, right? See here. When to execute task 2. Task 2 is there, right? You would like to execute task 2 based on task 1. Depends on optional. Or task 2 can be independent. Task 1 can be dependent or independent of task 2. Now, if we say dependent, what does it mean? What kind of dependent? Yes, here it is. When we say depends on, it means by default it is success. Depending on the success of task 1. That's the meaning. If task 1 is success, then only you would like to execute task 2. It is a new item available in workspace. So not the case in the past. In the past, there is no dependency from one task to another task. We recently got the dependency, but remember it's only for success right now. What if task 2 has to execute if task 1 fails? Then what we do? So here you got one job like this, okay? Something like that. Small slow stuff. Yes, here we say plus. Again, one more task can be added. Here is always dependent structure. There is no option for failure, completion, like then what we do? What if our task 2 should execute if task 1 fails? Yes, in such a case, we need to integrate these notebooks with data factory. So there comes the concept of data factory. We create notebooks in database, but to control the notebooks, schedule the notebooks with multiple flexible options, we can make use of data factory. There in data factory, we can say task 1 is success, task 2 is success, etc. right side, apart from schedule, whatever schedule you mentioned earlier is for the entire job. And notifications. Say, for example, add notification. Start or success or failure, you would like to get notifications to a particular user. Give some user name. Say, come back to our notes. So here it is. Just mention this way. What next? Apart from this, schedule. Before we do the schedule, click on plus symbol, add new task, define task name, notebook, and cluster. And also dependence. Remember, as on date is always on success. Dependency with previous task. Within the job. Then for the entire job level property. Job level properties. We have number one, schedule. I'll say define schedule. What else? Notifications, right? Notification email. And other one, concurrent. You remember starting up our Databricks activities last week, I said something called DOP. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Degree of parallelism.
Yes. Let's apply it here. Yes, we can execute a job or execute a notebook. Now, if it is notebook, the advantage is this one, concurrency. Here it is. Apart from scheduling, go down. Maximum concurrent runs. Here it is. Go for edit concurrent runs and specify the number of concurrents that you want. Click on. Here you go. This means at a time, at a particular time instance, the job can be executed in 3 different threads in parallel. So I execute, you execute at the same time. The schedule will also trigger the job. Concurrent means number of possible parallel executions. It's called concurrent runs. For every run, connection will be established. For every run, there can be a caching. Last week, one of the notes were talking about caching the connection. So job is executed in parallel, so multiple times in parallel. So multiple connections will be involved. Each connection is different, and every time the job is executing, job involves a notebook. Notebook has some temporary views and data frames. Those will be again separate. So whatever notebook execution context I have, will have my own temporary view and data frame, which are different from your temporary view and data frame. For this reason, I was actually requesting you day for yesterday to create a temporary view in Databricks file system and test it in Power BI. If you test it, you don't see it over there. Reason temporary view is local to that workspace only. not to the notebook, to that workspace, Because if same notebook is executed by other user or other job at the same time, again their context will be different. So temporary views are local, not global. Temporary views are local to that particular execution context only. It is just like local temporary table in SQL Server, something like that. Are we getting it, everyone? I'll wait.
Yes, sir.
So, keeping this point in mind, I will ask you to try the temporary views before for the today's class. So here it is our notes. A concurrent execute. So dedicated or local temporary view data with respect to each execution context is the actual concept. Please have a look at it carefully. Now, we understood how to schedule the notebooks. From here, let me give some task items. We should be, learning it very carefully. Task number 1. You will do them before our next class. You will do them. Number 1. We can run the notebook direct. We can also schedule a job to run the notebook, or we can also create a job. We can also create a job to run the notebook manually without schedule. Remember? Do you remember this? Without any schedule, run manually. You got the option, right? Plus create job. You give some tasks and all. Say create. While creating, I just put this way. Here is the job. While creating, you can define some schedule. Manual or schedule, right? Either of them. There are two options. Then, what difference you identify between above two options and which is better? Okay, that would be your first task. You need to carefully identify the things, you'll get the answer. Number 2. Here it is. For example, yes, you scheduled notebook using job. Later, a developer or data scientist edit the notebook code. What impact it has on the job? You'll do it. You'll do it carefully. You will try it first. Okay. Then we get the answer automatically. Number 3. Developer edit the notebook program or the platform. Example from Python to Scala. What impact it has on the job? Number 4. Friends, are we getting the tasks now one by one? Please, hope you'll try. Hope you'll try doing that.
Yes.
Please. Where do you find the list of all clusters? Number 5. Where do you find the list of all notebooks? Number 6. Where do you find the list of all jobs? Number 7. Can you reuse the schedule of one job, the schedule of one job with another job? Give a try. Go through the interface carefully. You'll get it. Can you reuse the task of one job with another job? Do this. Then we get the complete concept. I want you to try. Please try, submit, get my answers. I gave answers only for 1, 2, 3 FAQs. There are other FAQs pending. I'll send you only the questions today. You'll answer. You'll give a try. See what all you can do. You'll submit, and as usual, you'll be getting my answers. Just wait for a few moments, please. I'll make sure I'll send all the information. So here we go. It's number 9, right? It's number 9. Because earlier you got 8.182 Power BI and security 8.182. Here it is 9. Please confirm the sequence, please. Hope you are downloading all the files, right? Everyone, please check it.
In that 8.1 was about 8.2.
8.1 was Power BI. Right?
Yeah, the file was missing in that.
Right, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just send it 8.1, 8.2, and 9. I'll send, okay, all three I'll send it to better. Okay, in order I'll send it. Please double check it now. If anything is missing, please double check it now. And wait, please. I need to send 2 more mails today. Apart from the class notes, I have to send 2 more mails. One is the PDF I was promising. I'll send it. Number 2, FAQs. I'll send them today so that you can start working on the things for the weekend carefully. And now, while we are waiting for the email, here it is. When to use which? Use Python. No, use Scala. Python for machine learning projects. Yes, for ETL operations on data subjected to either machine learning, just in case you are writing your running notes, this is important, or application app design, the application development, preferably IoT, Internet of Things, like live tracking activities. Scala. Use Scala for ETL operations on data. Okay, here it is. Pertaining to big data clusters or big data operations. Since it's operations on big data. Okay, any application that involves Java, because remember, architecture Scala depends on JVM, right? It generally all full stack. If anyone aware of the term full stack, generally if anyone from developer background, we say Java full stack, .NET full stack, we call them. Olden days we used to have something called EJBs, Enterprise Java Beans, Struts, etc. Now it got Java full stack active. So any kind of projects that involve stacking is like mean stack, full stack, etc. Job full stack, etc. What is actually involves? Yes, there are good amount of tools and skills over there. More importantly, involves number one, Spring, Java Spring framework and web architecture. When we say web architecture, means social projects, social platforms. You go for scanner. In case any kind of social integration activities, Scala is always preferred item. In case of any device-based activity, like for example, live temperature tracking. We say IoT, live temperature activities, or even like for example, a phone call tracking. In such a case, prefer to always go for Python. Again, whether to go for Python or Scala, developers and data scientists will take care of their job. As a data engineer, we are supposed to maintain. We are the backend for them. We are supposed to maintain the complete code. That's how it is. I repeat once again, Python for the purpose of number one, machine learning activities like IoT, and also for purpose of application development. Like for example, here it is. There is one application called Raspberry application. It's a web-based application designed by Azure developers. What it does, it keeps giving a simulator from Microsoft. It keeps giving the live temperature. It keeps reading live temperatures from a temperature sensor. You have a TV remote. It has a small chip. The chip involves some program. The program is IoT program, the Internet of Things we call, or Amazon Fire Stick. Just example. It communicates with the internet and the television and easily interact with multiple satellite channels. We call it as IoT device. Any kind of IoT, remember, Python would be the best choice. Any kind of social platforms, remember, Scala would be the best choice. One email is sent just now, please check it. Can we have a friendly mock test now? We are pending with it. Now or Monday. Please tell me your wish. I will wait. Please. Mic with everyone. Today or next class Monday, India time. Please tell me your wish. I'll wait. Please. Monday, sir.
Monday, sir.
Please check your mics, everyone. Please, I'll wait. Monday, everyone. Yes,
Yes,
please.
Monday.
Yes.
Monday.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Before Monday, what you will do? Yes, make sure you go through all the notes carefully, thoroughly. Number two, make sure you refer to the answers to my FAQ sent earlier for first three items, right? I gave only 1, 2, 3. I need to give FAQs for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'll do it. I don't want to overload you. I just, in the meantime, you already have the number 9 FAQs with you today along the session notes. I request you to first go through it carefully and try to practice the items thoroughly. Do these FAQs. Please make sure when you are submitting FAQs, please make sure you do not change the file name. That's the number 9. It will be easy for me, okay? Either I would be verifying the answers or my missus, okay, because she is my classmate, okay, my schoolmate, college mate, right from my +2, +1 different college, but +2, and BTech and IIT. We were actually together by God's grace. She will be taking care. Okay. She knows the subject better than me, I feel. Truly speaking, really, okay, because she always do R&D, lot of R&D. She's working for Wipro as a mentor right now, as a mentor for Wipro. Either she will be taking care, but make sure, like, please understand my concern. There will be multiple batches, right? Please understand my concern. Multiple batches, multiple attendees. So more than 10 batches a day. So just, imagine the amount of mails I get. Please understand my concern. Please do not give your own fancy names to the files. Please make sure you provide the same file name. Please understand my concern. Please leave the file name as is. Download the file, edit the file, do the things and submit. Please understand my concern, please. Yes, you'll get proper information. Okay, and answers, like, they will be prototyped anyway. I already framed all the answers. So this is simply attached. Check the file, go to the screen carefully. If the answers are more than 50% correct, then you get the reply. Otherwise, kindly practice again, recheck your answers and resubmit. That will be the standard template. Please understand. Hope you will do, everyone. Please. Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let's love to learn.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, email sent everyone. Please check it. Please check it, everyone. Email sent to everyone. Please check it. I'll wait.
Yeah, we got the mail.
I didn't receive.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sai Kaila.
Please tell me, sir.
Yeah, actually I missed the class on 22nd June due to my illness. So I have sent you an email for the session, recording session, but I didn't receive it.
1 minute. Did you inform our team before the class?
Yes. Before the class, before 1 hour, I have sent email to you.
Then I think our team would have already sent it. But please refresh your spam or promotions once again, please. I'll wait. If not, I'll do the needful. No worries. Please do it. I'll wait. In the meantime, others, please take your mail. I'll wait.
Yeah, we received it.
Yeah, please take it back, everyone. Please.
Happy
I'll wait.
birthday.
Fine.
Got the. So I have one question regarding this concurrent execution of the same job.
Yeah.
So when we run the same job concurrently, when two users run the same job, and it will be loading into the same table, the target, if you are writing into a target table in that notebook.
Yes.
So there will be duplicates, right? So what is the
No.
use of?
No, it's not like duplicate. For example, what if the target has a primary key? No,
Yeah.
actually, it depends. Like, let me put this. Yes, if you are talking from OLTP perspective, yes, we have the concept of primary. If it is a warehouse perspective, we have concept of merge. We understanding the merging of data, right? Merging two tables. So either you merge 2 times or 10 times, it only identifies the difference of data, right? It's delta.
Yeah.
So obviously it will not be a duplicate. If it is a small, this basic level package or basic level pipeline, wherein we are just reading the data or loading the data, then yes, you are right. There might be a duplicate. But mostly it is for incremental loads. Okay. Incremental loads don't also be.
So I'm trying to understand the scenario where it is used, where concurrent execution is used.
Yes, exactly. Here it is. Assume a small basic level scenario now. Like you have some data at the source. Okay, some IoT source. We say something called IoT hub. You extract the data. You mean like one notebook is extracting the data. At the same time, let other notebook also extract the data. It's the live data. At the source, we have live data. You are extracting events 1 to 20. The other notebook will be extracting events 1 to 25. You start the notebook at second number 1, so first second. The other notebook may start at 5th second. It depends. If both notebooks are starting exactly at the same time, no use again. But say one person or one notebook is doing one set of events other notebook in parallel, they start working on the same set of events plus add-ons. Right? At the target, only one set. So first notebook may write 1 to 20 and upset we call comparison. Remaining 5 events would be written by the second notebook. But the target is not waiting for other notebooks to start from the scratch, right? Because second notebook is already in the journey. You got the point now. Pipelining concept, pipeline execution, main advantage.
Question on the workers. So
Yeah.
when we created the job, we selected in the standard 2 to 8 workers, right? So
Yes.
what exactly each worker is taking the job? Like what task is each worker taking from our notebook? Say, for example, we have a like in our example, we get the CSV file, right? So it's a one job. So in that case, you cannot split that job into multiple workers, right? Only one worker will work. Is that correct? Or
Not really, actually. Worker should be, seen like a processor node or a thin client. Okay, worker is like a thin client. Well, if the data is very huge, multiple workers will extract the data in parallel. Of course, one worker may be involved in aggregation. For aggregation, one worker may be involved, but data extraction would be from multiple workers.
so
Data is stored also using multiple workers. Let me put a small diagram like this. Just wait. Okay, I'll give you a small diagram like this. I said something called DOCP, right? There it comes actually. A small diagram, something like this. See here. Multiple workers may be involved in data extraction. Multiple workers may be involved in data loading. One worker per aggregation. The volume of data.
So basically, if we take a traditional programming construct, in general, we create the batching process, right? We take the full CSV, we say read 1 to 10 using this thread and to 10 to 100 in this thread. So we split them into jobs. So here it is automatically doing that job for us.
Like that automated resource allocations. We need not, control it manually.
Okay. So batching is external.
Something like this. See, for example, you run a query. The query will run. Yes, you run it. But which processor is running the query, or how the query is distributed across multiple processors, that we cannot really control, right? It's an internal, automatic. Okay, got it? You need to simply allocate the number of processing nodes. That's enough. Here we say NUMA node. There we say core, CORE core. Got it now? As simple as that.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, how many mails you have sent today?
Only one mail sent, 2 more mails pending. Give me some time. Just double check all. Okay. Only one mail sent. Yes. And
Yes,
Sai,
sir.
you said like you haven't received the mail, right? Did you double check it, brother? Please tell me. Sai, please update me. I need to update my team now. Please, Sai. Sai Kaila, please tell me. I think your mic is muted. Sai, please tell me. Sai, mic with you.
Yes, I did get it. I checked the spam folder, promotion folders also. I did.
22nd India time, right? Is it?
Yes, it's 22nd July. June.
1 minute. I'll just update our. Please give me max 1 hour time. We'll look.
Sir,
That would be shown the hello.
haven't received the file.
yesterday I have pinged you in WhatsApp, sir, regarding yesterday's
Oh, yeah, I got it. Sure. I'll send it another 1 hour. I'll be able to do it.
Thank you.
Sure. I'll
Sir, I have a question on notebook.
please tell me.
So a notebook, we can export the notebook, but how can we import it and see it?
We'll do it. Go to workspace, right click import. I'll show you. We are going to reuse the notebooks I said, right? We are going to reuse the notebooks. I'll show you. Yeah, we can go to work. Yeah, just launch workspace. And once you launch workspace, here it is. Left side, you will see the option. Workspace is there, right? Just try this. Click on workspace. And here it is. Import. Got it?
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sai, I have one question. As you shown that
So
for
it's something called data book.
Book is like a package.
It's a package. Okay.
Okay. That's why a package can be migrated. Here, notebook can be migrated. You got it?
Okay.
There is a data flow. Here it is data frame. Got it now?
Okay.
That is the concept.
We will still have to discuss the difference between SQL context and
Yeah,
queries.
we'll do. Next class. I think Monday agenda. We'll do it. And we need to also understand when to go for standard mode, when to go for high concurrency mode. Even that is also pending. We'll do one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll do. Okay. Well, we'll do one by one. Okay.
And sir, one more question. Can you explain this standard concurrency and even the different type of clusters with the different examples?
Sorry, madam. Please repeat again. What is that? Tell me.
I'm saying, can we discuss the clusters, the concurrency mode with the different examples, the real-time examples?
For that, you got project work anyway. You have a project work for the entire course. Right? I was showing one diagram, you remember? For the end-to-end integration. So there we will talk about it. Okay. At that time, the project I'll be using concurrency, high concurrency. Yes, next class we are going to understand when to go for standard mode, when to go for high concurrency. Will do.
It's like you were mentioning that this when to use a Spark or Scala, it's up to the developers and as data engineer we do. But as data engineer, we are responsible for the ETLs as well, right?
Yeah, whatever notebook they decide things based on that notebook, we have to do ETL. But at the end of the day, we are only the valid parking service. But why? We are doing valid parking service to these things. But for whom? So data has to be consumed by either developers or data scientists. They need to consume the data. They are going to. We do ETL activities. We maintain notebooks because we will be the admins for the data.
So we will be writing that Python code or Scala code to extract the data.
Exactly, you are right. And in PP203 examination, Python is mentioned only once. Scala also mentioned only once. Okay, only once it was mentioned. I mean, I'm talking about the keyword weightage. Yes, we will definitely learn about it, but at the ETL perspective. Okay. So, generally,
So
developers
mostly on ADF and Synapse.
let's say like 60 to 70% on data bank. 60 to 70%. Remaining on data lake and data bank. Again, out of data bank, Synapse, recent past, they have increased Synapse like anything again. Out of the 60%, whatever I told, more than 40% on Synapse. Only 20% on data. Because they are coming with something called Synapse. It's like a mini BI tool actually. It can do whatever operations we are doing right now. This is like Synapse interface. It's all about notebooks and pipelines. Both are integrated together. Data factory, pipelines. Databricks, notebooks. Combined together, a multi-plate Synapse. As it's
So, as you mentioned, when to use Python and Scala. Okay, so just suppose we have a banking projects and we are working with the multiple or huge transactions. or a kind of hospitality project where we have a multiple transactions of customers. So at that moment, which one we will prefer, Python or Scala?
Scala, because data volumes are very high, right? The more
Yes.
volumes of data. Scala. See, whatever conclusion, Scala is the answer for a question. Whatever conclusion I gave you today is on top of the comparison you got in the 6th chapter. You are talking about banking transaction. That means OLTP. Hence, my answer is Scala.
Yeah.
Fine, friends. Please complete all your practice and get ready for a nice friendly mock test on Monday. We'll do it carefully. 2 more mails pending from my end. I'll do it. Please give me 1 hour time. 1 to max 2 hours time. I'll do the needful. Pending 2 emails. 1 for FAQs, 1 for the PDF I was promising. I'll do.
Okay.
Please.
And I just
Start
might,
working.
yeah, sorry. And just I'm not sure whether I have to ask this question right or now. So
Felix, tell me.
okay, so basically, if some customer asks me like for the data Azure data engineering architecture or something, like he want to ETL process want to execute in for the data his own data, then can we get the approx estimation how it will take the cost when we are using the various resources?
Yeah, we'll do. Yes. We need to involve costing activities as well. And Microsoft has specific checklist, there are cheat sheets for the costing activities. There is a small cheat sheet by Microsoft. So in one of our classes, we are going to take the cheat sheet and understand the costing model based on number 1, size of data, number 2, till 10 petabytes, number 2, speed of network.
Okay.
Okay. So based on that, we'll be able to decide. In one of our next classes, you have this comparison activity. Leave it to me.
Okay. So like we'll make a architect like how data will flow through the various resources, and accordingly, as per this table, we'll find out the like estimation,
Cost.
right? Cost, like
Exactly.
approx it will take.
Yes.
Okay.
And the data flow is organized by this particular diagram. You remember, I was showing you multiple times during your classes. So we need to identify the components and the size of data at each component and the possible speed of the network. That we have to get from the network engine, and then get set of
Right.
cost. We have to.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Fine, friends. Please complete all the practice. I'll eagerly wait for your answers to the questions. Thank you, friends. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.